In this video, we're looking at different ways that you can help your students revise for exams in OneNote. One thing that I've started doing recently is in the collaboration space. In here, you can see I've created a Term 2 exam tab. And each day, we've been going through some different focus areas in our revision for the upcoming test. In the first example, we're looking at efficiency ratios. And what I did is I created a page with some basic information at the top, and then I asked students to go in and come up with an example of a question from my cues at the top here. Each student has gone ahead and chosen a topic or a cue, and they've written down what to learn and gone further by examining how we can best revise for it. In some cases, students have suggested questions, and in other cases they've suggested activities. What's been really useful is that each student has been encouraged to participate in this activity. Sometimes revision can be a passive thing. As teachers, we often hand out sheets to students. In doing that, we're taking a lot of the responsibility off the students in actively revising for the test that's coming up. What I've done here is give the students some cues and to break the cues into sections to learn and suggestions on how to best learn it. To ensure that every student participates, everyone has their own row in the table, and you can see students that have and have not put in a revision question. What I also like about the collaboration space is that we can see by hovering over the initials who put in their entry and when. Now, while we're doing this, I've always got this screen up on the classroom projector, and that enables me to keep an eye on the student entries from anywhere in the classroom while we're doing the activity. And the best way to do that is to go to whiteboard mode. Once we've finished with this sheet, you'll want to protect it. The best way to do that would be to then copy this sheet into the content library. So you could look at the collaboration space as an area where students collaboratively write revision questions. When that's been finished, you can then move the student work into a read-only area such as the content library. Let's go ahead and look at other examples. When we studied compression and tension, once again I had cues. And the only problem here is that the students tended to put the same types of cue questions in there. Some were quite creative, but others needed more guidance and structure. This in itself was helpful feedback for me because it indicated to me that the students in my class didn't really know how to study compression and tension. And as a teacher, I'm now able to do something about that before the test comes. Let's look at a different activity. Here we were looking at measuring the density of different materials. And as an activity, once again I put each student's name into a row, and they had to choose an object, work out its density, and then finally as a class we ranked them from the most dense through to the least dense object. One thing I've learned about these types of revision strategies is it's better to actually set the questions per student. As we've gone from the first through to this current activity, you'll notice that my cues are getting shorter, and instead I'm saying that all students have been assigned one question each. And as we go down, I've actually handpicked questions that I think are appropriate to each student. So in that sense, I'm able to differentiate the revision as well. While every student is answering one question, collectively, they've got one big class revision sheet to go through. And that's a great benefit in working this way. It takes the pressure off me as a teacher to create the revision, and it puts the onus back on students to be a part of that process.